Welcome back to the second edition of Know the Snow Yukon Conditions Update, brought to you by the Canadian Avalanche Center and the Yukon Avalanche Association. Last week we were talking about a wind slab avalanche problem, and that same problem holds true currently, as we've observed recent small but natural wind slab avalanches in the White Pass region. One way to recognize this problem is to test small slopes with no consequences, looking for signs of instability, such as whumping and shooting cracks in the snow. It's important to remember that these test slopes should be small and free of terrain traps below, gullies, creek beds, and depressions. The other avalanche problem is a persistent slab avalanche problem. Requires careful snowpack evaluation and conservative terrain choices. The theme of this week's video is From Thick to Thin, Shallow Triggers and Persistent Slabs. A combination of cold weather, low snow accumulation, and strong winds from both the north and the south have led to a highly variable snow distribution. In a wind-loaded feature in the Fraser Chutes area, approximately 1,200 meters elevation, are persistent weak layers of facets in the mid-pack and depth hoar at the ground are still producing hard but sudden collapse fracture character to compression test and extended column tests. In this profile, these layers range from 80 centimeters to 110 centimeters below the surface.
So what we've done is we've dug a profile of a sort of wind-loaded feature and trying to show how easily that height of snow can change in a very short distance. So on our right here, we've got about 120 centimeters of snow in a wind-loaded feature, a wind slab. Really hard snow all the way down, and down to about 110 centimeters or 100 centimeters we find our weak basal layer of facets and depth hoar. Moving across the pit only about 5 feet to my left, you can see that wind slab starts to taper out, get thinner and thinner, and that layer of facets, that weak layer of facets and surface hoar, depth hoar, gets closer and closer to the surface to the point where it's only about 10 centimeters underfoot.
Compression tests show harder results where the slab is thicker and easier results where the slab is thinner, a more likely location for the weight of a skier or a sledder to trigger this layer. Moving on, cold clear weather and intermittent snowfall in the past week has buried a layer of surface hoar by approximately 20 centimeters of new snow and has promoted the growth of another layer on the surface. Just remember, conditions change quickly in the mountains. A significant warm front forecasted for the end of the weekend could change conditions drastically. Make sure you stay up to date. Check the latest Yukon conditions report at avalanche.ca.